you don't know what someone is going through when they're out there training, when they're out there finding out that they can push their bodies to limits that they never thought was possible. That person who runs because they just need to clear their head, that person who likes to hear the birds chirp while they're running, their footsteps hitting the ground. It just is so much stronger and bigger. And so that's why I love paper and I love words of encouragement. It's totally different than, saying it, but it is another piece that I think people still love.
Welcome to the Safe Space Running Podcast, where we're here to enable, encourage, and empower. I'm pretty sure I mixed those words up again. I think that is now the running theme of this podcast, on which of those words gets mixed up from time to time. But I am so glad to have one of my run cousins, one of my favorite people I've met in this journey of running, Kim from Soul Inspired. Kim, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is mine. And clearly, for those who are watching, we are twinning today. I believe, are these still in stock right now?
Yeah, I still have a few left. So yeah, they are. And thank you so much for your support. And it was a big surprise to see you when you walked on. I was like, oh my God.
No, we pull up for ours. No, and just before we begin, before quick plugs, Soul Inspired, there are a couple of these. I do like this shirt a lot. I think this is a really good, powerful message to that. But getting into the core of our conversations today, I wanted to ask first, what is on your schedule for this season? Do you have any big plans in terms of fitness? Do you have any races coming up? What does 2026 look like for you right now?
So 2026 for running races, I'm doing the race, of course, which is in October.
Yes.
And I'm actually doing my first High Rocks in DC.
Oh.
I know, something totally different. As I say, movement. Use my soul. So it's just something different. I love challenging my body and just seeing what I can do. And so that will be something big for me. So that's my big to do for the fall. Is I'm doing doubles, so that'll be a good thing. I'll have a partner.
Look, any singles, double. High Rocks. I don't know if that's my ministry. I'm gonna say it. I applaud those who are doing it. Maybe I did tell somebody I would do a workout with them, a High Rocks workout. I haven't gone. I mean, we haven't scheduled. I will do that much just for accountability. But the actual, I think I want to try and figure out this marathon and half marathon stuff before I get too carried away. But I have the distinct pleasure again of speaking with you today, and you are the creator of Soul Inspired, which is an interesting business, to say the least, that's card-based, that's inspired around running. And my first question to you, though, is why Soul Inspired? Why start up something of this nature where it's not just greeting cards, but they're cards and much more with a twist? What was the purpose behind that?
Definitely. So, let's see, I started running probably in 2008, and running for me took on like a different meaning. I was never athletic. I never was big into running, but I found that running helped me through grief, and it helped me through, it was like I called it movement, like in therapy, right? And as I saw myself actually getting stronger, and it just spilled over into so many parts of my life, knowing that running marathons teaches you that anything is possible. And so I started getting stronger, and I loved the way that I felt. And so I am a big paper person. So I love snail mail. I know, this is a world full of digital meaning. You get on Instagram, social media, I feel like those things, even though people can celebrate you through text messages or congratulations on Instagram or, Facebook, I feel like just having paper in your hand, like really getting a card from someone that says, I took the time to get a card for you that's specific for what you're doing. And I found that there was nothing like that out in the market. Like I literally was making my new running friends cards that says, congratulations on your first marathon. Congratulations on your PR. Congratulations on just not giving up and just, really showing up for yourself. And so 2018, I actually made, what I loved and what I was doing by hand, I made it into a business. And it was very exciting for me because I was sharing my love for paper with others. And I find that people love it. People love to get mail. I mean, I know people aren't used to checking their mailboxes like they used to, but getting something that says Kimberly took the time to pick out a card specifically for you, because running is a niche in the greeting card business. I felt that it was something that could really encourage people. So we have cards that says, you can do hard things and never give up. So there's all these things that have like a little bit of grit that says, I know what you're going through. And as a runner, and I picked Soul Inspired because of the soles of my feet. And
Hmm.
I really think when I think about Soul Inspired is similar to your fingerprint, right? Your fingerprint is unique to you, and running and the journey is unique to each individual person. So yes, as a community, we get out there together, we run, we celebrate each other, but you don't know what someone is going through when they're out there training, when they're out there finding out that they can push their bodies to limits that they never thought was possible. That person who runs because they just need to clear their head, that person who likes to hear the birds chirp while they're running, their footsteps hitting the ground. It's just a different, and I'm sure it's just a different feeling. And, I saw you in Selma, and to think when you can run for a cause and for a purpose, it just is so much stronger and bigger. And so that's why I love paper and I love words of encouragement. It's totally different than, saying it, but it is another piece that I think people still love. Some people do, some people don't. So
It's funny you mentioned that because you jumped right into my next question, but I'm going to touch more on that. I love that you mentioned that running looks different for everybody, and even it came to fruition with your running journey and how you mentioned that you weren't athletic growing up, things like that, but your running journey and how that merged with your love of paper and snail mail
mhm.
made your journey completely different than the next person, which I think it doesn't need. No journey is better than the other because every journey is special and unique in its own way. And I love that you was able to take those two passions of running, taking that running, that healing of running, and what you were able to get through with that, and
Mhm.
combine that with the encouragement and the. I got your card from here. I'm not going to show too deep because this is mine, but but no, it's like I was excited when I got it, and you mentioned that like getting mail and that intention. I feel like snail mail still has that intention, that purpose,
Yes.
that card, and
Yes.
that kind of goes into my next question for you is why is that important to have cards of encouragement, especially in this space of running and walking, where running is already difficult enough, but you found the niche to create something that's solely unique, but then it has meaning and encouragement behind it. Why was that important to your business?
Well, because I felt like it was something that you could physically touch,
Mm,
right? And you can keep that reminder next to you on the side of your nightstand. You could put it in your planner, you could put it in your book, you can have it in your car, you could put it on your mantle. It is something that says, you know what, this is a physical reminder from someone that they believe in me, that encouragement that says keep going. Like, in running there's so many times you want to give up, right? There's so many
yeah.
times. I just created this new card that's called the messy middle, because we think about the finish lines, but it's really all of the middle part, the training, the mental state, the really believing in yourself and really talking to yourself that you got to keep going. And I remember someone told me once, and it was so true, that the marathon starts at mile 20. And I really do kind of believe that, because at that point, when you're running, it's like your body is so worn out, and mentally, you have to will yourself to keep going. And you have to talk to yourself. Like, you have to keep telling yourself that you can do this for those last 6 miles, because as they say, the body achieves what the mind believes, and that's why I think cards are so, like, and it's interesting. I'm not only a card person, I'm a journaler as well.
Mm.
And I think, and I was thinking about this, and this made a lot of sense to me later. I think I really became really big into writing and journaling is because my late husband was in the Navy. And 25, 30 years ago, we wrote letters. And it meant the world to me that when they picked up mail, that he was able to get mail from me, and
Mm.
he was able to read, because back then they only had one email for officers. So I couldn't write anything personal in an email that was shared by a lot of officers. Now, of course, everything has changed, but
Mm.
back in the 90s, like, the officers had to share an email. So when you sent something over, other people could possibly. So I wrote a lot. Like, I wrote every day. I made sure, he was a pilot, and so one of his jobs was actually to collect the mail.
Mm.
And so it meant the world to me that when he flew over to get the mail, that he had mail from me. And I would put cards, I would write letters. I mean, it wouldn't be, like 5, 6 pages. It would be a couple pages. But I think that's when I really got into just really communicating in a different method when you don't get to talk to someone every day. And that stuck with me. And I send out Christmas cards every year. I write my friends letters. I believe in giving flowers while people are alive. I unfortunately know all too well what it means, like, to lose people. I've lost my husband, I've lost both parents. So I look at life totally different, in the standpoint in that I try to live as if tomorrow is not promised. So I will send a friend a card, and they might not get it for weeks, because guess what? People aren't checking mailboxes every day. And
Mm.
they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, Kim, I got this card." I mean, it's probably been here for, a week or two, but they appreciate it, and it's like a nice surprise. And I do little mini cards too that says things like, "I'm so freaking proud of you." And sometimes I will put those on, like, on your car. Like, if I see a runner, I'll put it like on the windshield. It's just a little card. It's just like a
Mm.
little mini piece of inspiration, so that when somebody comes back, they'll look and they'll be like, "What is that?" And it'll just be something that just make you smile. And I think that the written power of words is still valuable. And yeah, that's why I still do cards. And running movement in general. So I started with Soul Inspired with strictly running. And I had this big goal of doing like 50 half marathons before I turned 50. And I did my 50th in Paris. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I did 10 marathons, one ultra, but then I had a torn medial meniscus.
Mm.
And I decided that I was going to still run, but I wasn't going to run like races for distance and things like that. So I I really found out that I enjoyed movement and like being outside. So I didn't let that stop me. I started hiking, I started paddleboarding, I roller skate. So movement really does fuel my soul. And so
Mm.
I branched Soul Inspired out, because I said, it's not just the souls from running, but it's the souls from the journey. And so now, we have running cards. I have over 40 birthday cards for all things movement. And right, it's crazy because the top selling card, and I'm guessing it might be related to the World Cup because I'm on Amazon, is soccer.
Mm. Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, like, when I tell you the amount of cards that are selling on Amazon, and so I like that people are still buying birthday cards and buying cards, for encouragement and things like that. So yeah, I'm a little different like that.
But that's the beauty of it, is it's so it's you all from the time that we've known each other, the thing that keeps sticking to mind when even when you speak about your passion and the cards and sending them to your friends and creating it is it's just words of affirmation is what comes to
Mhm.
mind. That's and I
Mhm.
think that whether it's and I know this podcast is always centered around running and walking, but running can always bleed into so many other aspects of our personal lives.
Oh,
And
yes.
we all can take words of affirmation. I believe it's one of the love languages is, that we look for it from when we're growing up as kids,
Mhm.
but words that's so critical, especially in something that can be so difficult.
Oh,
And I
yes.
love that you've created that a tangible piece. I love that you mentioned that you can just have it on your desk, and it's true.
Mhm.
Sometimes you get so much data in our phones and in our emails and things. I probably got like 400 emails sitting right now that I'm probably never going to check. It's bad. Like I had to make a brand new email for Safe Space because my
Oh,
personal email is
gosh.
it is a hot mess. I'm telling you. So if I give you
Yeah.
that one, know
Yeah.
that it may not get checked. But I digress. It's like having that physical intentional card with those words of affirmation to tell you, great job, you did something great, great
Mhm.
job to you, and all the love involved says a lot. And you touched into so you I feel like it's church again when people when they talk like, oh, you touched all of my sermon. But I also agree in giving people their flowers while they're alive. And it's when I say it's truly a pleasure to know you and to interact with you and to again support. I believe in what you've created. I believe in
Yeah.
the impact that you've created in this space for not only for the people that you've came with and for those who are listening who may not be aware, but I think that again it speaks a lot to your character. It's one thing to text somebody good job. I do, and there's no discredit to that one as well, but the intention of handwriting a note to tell someone that they're special, that they deserve to be here, that they've done something great, and that they can hold does mean something. And you could have had a choice to do anything else, but you
Right.
chose to live your journey and exemplify it for others to receive that is a good way to put it. Your cup runneth over. If I start getting to the church sermon, you know what I'm saying? But that's so true in your case. And I want to make sure that we give you your flowers and thank you
Yeah.
for literally not just this movement, the actual movement, but like the movement of, this passion of yours of paper, of writing, and putting it into a space to where we can celebrate each other and give something tangible. And you really it says so much when we give people encouragement. Like you never know what that person is going
Oh,
through.
yeah.
And that one card, I truly believe saying the right thing at the right time can save somebody's life. And even if it's in the context of running, it can save their journey into this space. Someone told me the other day, I feel seen. And
Mm.
things like this of
Mhm.
giving somebody a card to say, it may not be much to say, hey, great job. I saw you out there in 90-degree heat putting in some miles when you don't want to, but great job. Things like that can
Yeah.
do so much. And you've created an opportunity for us to continue that in your own special way. And I love that. So I
Yeah, I
have to
appreciate
thank
that.
you so much for that. And again, I thank you for who you are and what you do in this space and the person that you are.
I appreciate that. I
Of
really
course,
do.
of course.
Thank you.
And now my last and favorite question to ask. We have a new runner and walker. What
Mhm.
is one thing you would tell them as they're entering into this space?
Mm. Actually, one of my favorite cards is Your Race at Your Pace. I think as a new runner or walker, sometimes comparison can be the thief of joy. And we see other people and what they're doing, and we want our bodies to do the same thing. But I think in order to really enjoy and love the journey of running and walking, you have to do it for yourself. It has to be at your pace. You have to understand why you're doing it. Make sure it's not to, do it because someone else is doing it. And I would say to use um, your runs or your walk to celebrate yourself, what your body can do, because I think sometimes we forget what our bodies do for us, right?
Hmm.
So we have to thank our bodies, whether we're walking, speed walking, power walking, or we're running 5, 10 miles. I think when you really celebrate your body, that means you have to rest and recover when you need to. You just can't go out there and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it every day. And you have to rest and recover, and you have to do it at your own pace, because everybody's journey is different and everybody's body is different. So you have to be kind to your body. So that's what I would say.
I love that. Grace is always one of the themes I beat into everybody I come in contact with.
Mm.
Look how you're too nice, but to your point, people want us to be so critical of their runs. Like, oh, you should, tell me I'm doing great. I'm like, no, just be grateful you can run.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Be grateful you can walk and start from there. Always strive for improvements, great, but always be willing to take a step back and be like, just acknowledging, to your point, what our bodies are capable of and what we are. It is a blessing to be able to do what we do.
Yeah.
So I cannot thank you enough. I'm so glad to have you. And again, for those who are listening and watching, links will be provided to Soul Inspired. Again, I'm a firm believer of supporting ours and supporting, businesses, especially people of color. We have, this is, I personally love this business. And I love the person behind it. And like I said, I'm going to always give you your flowers. That is what it is. But,
Thank
no,
you
I
so much.
think that it's one of them things that it's a truly unique opportunity that we can give to just again continue to give words of affirmation to those we care about, especially in this space. So, Kim, I can't thank you enough, but I'm sure I will see you soon. I know
Yes.
for sure at the race, I'll be
At the
down
race for
there.
sure. Yes.
Yes, that's going to be, that's always a good time.
I
But
know.
thank you so
Always,
much.
always a good
Yes.
time.